Hello and welcome back to Ride Rescue. In this episode I'm going to put the windshield back in. The windshield is actually the factory original glass that came in the parts car. It's pretty amazing that a glass that is 60 years old has survived all these years. But fortunately it was in a car that didn't get used a whole lot before it was wrecked, and then it was just covered up in somebody's backyard for all these years. I'm using a lacquer thinner to clean up this channel. You wouldn't want to do that on a lot of paint jobs because the lacquer thinner will eat the paint right off. This paint is so old, it's so hard, it's not even touching it. But on this fender, since it has fairly fresh paint, I do need to be careful there because it will damage that paint. I'm not too concerned since I'm after that damaged look anyways, but I don't want it to be obvious that my lacquer thinner is eating away areas of the paint. I'm quite surprised that using lacquer thinner and cleaning all around this edge, it does have good solid paint all around that channel. There's only one area in that far corner where the paint flaked off and I've got bare metal. It's not rusty though. It's nice and shiny, so I'll put some primer and some sealer over that. Eats right through the gloves. I'm going to hit it with just a little bit of white paint, just so that it matches. It's not really necessary, but I have it. Plus the primer has a tendency to be a little bit porous, and moisture can get in there, and it possibly can get past primer if it's not a good primer sealer and epoxy, which that's not. A good paint, even a fair quality paint, will seal that up and keep it from rusting. we'll let that paint cure, and I'll clean up this channel. I've got some of the old sealant that has gotten down in the channel where the defroster goes. So I'll get that cleaned up, and we'll start putting in the new sealant, and I'll get the glass prepped to go back in. Before I can put the glass back in, I need to replace the rubber channel that actually holds the glass in and seals it. The rubber channel has an S-curve shape to it. Part of that curve actually grips the edge of the glass, and the other edge of that S-curve goes over the lip of the body around where the window goes. And that lip has to be cleaned up, as well as the glass, to make sure you got a good bond. And then in addition to cleaning up that channel, it's got some old residue from some sealer. I will be using all new strip caulk sealer. It's a 3M strip caulk that goes all the way around that bed where the rubber seal will bond against that sealer and then hold out any moisture. To be able to get that seal to go into place, put the seal on the glass first, and I'll show you as I walk through that. And then once the glass and that seal is laid into that bed, then the S-curve piece of the flange on the inside of that rubber seal has to be pulled around the metal and then back again, and then the glass can be set in. So I'll walk you through that, and hopefully as I get this set into place, because of this major curve that comes around those little A-pillars, I don't bind anything up and crack it, because I would be really upset if I broke this glass. We just cleaned up the real rough stuff, the heavy stuff, with a razor blade, and now I'll go back over it with some steel wool and get all our water deposits and the fine residue. Steel wool does a great job to just really clean it up quickly. This windshield was on the parts car that actually sat outside for about 40 years, maybe even more. It's amazing how good a condition it's actually in. This is supposed to be a dark tint around the top. I don't think it was supposed to be that dark. I think with age it's gotten darker. But I love the fact that it has that little bit of a patina on it. It only has one mark. It's got a scratch, but it's just a light scratch, and that should buff out. So once I get the glass in place, then I can put a lot of pressure on it and not worry about cracking it. But I'm very pleased with this old glass, and it does have the original tinted symbol in the corner from GM. It is an original 1960s piece, so it's fantastic that it survived all these years, and it doesn't have a single rock chip in it. Pretty amazing. I purchased a replacement seal. As you can see, it's still in the package. I hope it's the right seal. trying to dry fit the trim on the car because it's kind of hard to tell which direction it actually goes. Both sides are so similar, but I've got it figured out now. I'll put this on the glass. Hopefully this is heavy enough strength. You think it's strong enough, it's really the key. So what the rope does when that seal is laying up against the body, the rope will assist in pulling that seal where that F's curve is. It's on the wrong side of the body, and the rope will pull it up and over to get it on the correct side. And then once it's up, it has a tendency, because the glass isn't going to fall all the way into place, where it's going to be kind of sticking out. And then once that glass is pressed back in, then that seal falls to the inside. Once that seal is on the inside and the glass is all pressed into place, then the trim can be put back on. The windshield trim is held on by some little clips. I marked the roof with some tape where all the clips were. They're just a clamp-on piece. Pretty simple. Now that I know they all fit, and this one needs to be bent back a little bit, I need to get sealant behind these and then across the top of them as well. So I will put them on after I have all my sealant around the edge. And on this one, I need to bend it a little bit. The strip caulk that is recommended, I found this black strip caulk. There's gray. The gray strip caulk is what was originally used back in the 60s. I was hoping to find some of that. You can see it on occasion. It comes up for sale. I wasn't able to find it. I was able to find the black strip caulk. This is just some thin strip pieces. You can pull it apart. It's really sticky, and it's pretty pliable and stretchy when it's warm. So they recommend freezing it. So I keep this in the freezer so that when I need it, I can just peel off some cold strips. If I'm working in a warm garage or warm shop, when I'm installing this, it starts to warm up pretty quick. It gets really sticky and it gets really stringy, and you'll waste a lot of it. I can just throw this back in the freezer, get it out, pull some pieces, and throw it back in the freezer. It does make it a lot easier to use and a lot easier to work with. So you can see this online. You can find it online. I bought this on eBay. There are some local shops that sell it. Yep. Freezing definitely helps. And put a little piece of strip caulk on both sides of those brackets and help ensure you don't end up with a little bit of a leak there. Well, since this is a DIY video, I'm going to see if I can put this glass in by myself. I could get some help from the neighbor, but let's give it a try. If I break it, I'm going to be really pissed. Got a variety of little hooks. My string came out along the bottom. It wasn't quite thick enough to stay in place, but I think it'll be okay. And there you have it. You can put one in by yourself. Once the glass is fully pressed back in so that the seal is fully in place, the strip caulk will then seal up any moisture for imperfections and any high spots or low spots that the strip caulk can then flow out and smooth out and then seal out any moisture around that glass. You can put a windshield in or a back window in without using the strip caulk, but you're most likely going to get some leaks. So just add this. You might have to do a couple layers and some low spots. I had a couple of low spots around the A-pillar where I had to build it up a little bit, but once the stainless steel trim goes on, it covers that up so you don't see it. But highly recommend it. The stainless steel trim actually is screwed on with some brackets underneath the cowl. So that is just pulled down tight with the screws. The same thing with the A-pillar. Those shapes, there's stainless steel that comes on that is screwed into place that holds up against the rubber. But across the top of the windshield, in 59 and 60, there was two different types. My parts car had the earlier type, which actually has long bolts that go down through, and they're actually drilled holes through the top of the window bed where that glass would seal against, and then you would have to pull back the headliner on the inside and put a nut on those long screws that will hold that stainless steel in place. Those have a tendency to leak, plus you've got to pull the headliner back in order to install and uninstall a window trim like this one. The later model car, which is my red car, it had these little clips, and you'll see them in the video. Those clips snap and crimp onto the edge. You put sealer over the clips, and then once the rubber is in place, there's a notch, there's a groove in that rubber that opens up enough that you can put the T-shaped stainless steel down into that rubber. And it does not go in very well if you don't soap it up really good. So I didn't show it in this video, and I kind of got carried away and got the stainless steel in and didn't get that recorded. But just use some soap, dishwashing soap, put it in a spray bottle with a little bit of water, really lather it up good, and then you can tap that stainless steel in to that channel without doing any damage to the stainless steel. So that's it for this video. Thank you for watching my video. I really appreciate you tuning in. Stay tuned, I got more videos coming up. My next video I'm going to be doing the dash pad, or lack of dash pad. I'll be painting it to match. I'll walk you through that one, and then I've got some other videos where it's got this car has the original banjo type windshield wipers. I don't want to buy the aftermarket ones. The aftermarket ones are available, the Tricos. They're very nice, but this has a really cool wire-backed kind of a banjo look that is pretty neat. I'll be finding some new rubber that goes into those blades, and then I'll get the wipers and everything all working. So thanks again for watching my videos. I appreciate it if you give me a like, leave me a comment. I love to hear from you. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. Every bit of subscription and every bit of following and liking that I can get just helps me be able to keep building my channel.